Hey, on Cruncher, aka The Fits. Got a little sports anecdote for y'all sporty people. One thing about golf, great game to play. Can learn a lot about it with it. Patience is one of them, especially when the course crowded, waiting to hit your ball and get to your ball and them kind of things. Main objective, 18 holes. Put the ball in the hole from the tee with the fewest amount of strokes possible in order to, well, that's the objective anyway. If you do it less than anybody else in a tournament, that means you win. Aside from all that, you learn some things about life too. When you teeing off, you got the fairway, that's what we call, say, the straight and narrow. Straight and narrow? Straight and arrow, depending on how you want to pronounce it. That's the easiest spot to put the ball in. Well, that's where the easiest position on the course is to score. To the left and right of that, call it in rough, depending on how far you go. So things could get rough if you ain't trying to hit it as straight and narrow as possible. Now, someone like me, the way I used to play, straight and narrow was, it was easy. You could always tee it up after a certain point, and even if you just gotta bunt it down there and then old man it to the green, 1-2. You know me, I always used to swing for the fences. If the green looked drivable, I'ma find out. When you do it like that, sometimes you don't quite get it how you want to get it. In fact, if you don't practice banging the ball as hard as you want to, like that off the tee regularly, you can find yourself in the bushes with some bad lies to deal with. Even in the fairway, sometimes you could get some bad lies. Your ball roll into somebody else's little divot where they hit the ball from before. Plug, if the water, was raining, they water the greens or something like that, kind of waterlogged, hits off the tee or anywhere and drops in plugs. Sometimes you get relief from them. Sometimes you gotta play them just how they are. That's how life is. And you gotta do the best you know how to do to get your balls in the hole as soon as possible. With the bunch of lies and stuff like that, that's just out there waiting to catch your ball. Out there waiting to try and cause you some strokes, some penalties. So that's one of them little sports anecdotes. Try and avoid them lies. If you know there's a bunch of lies, bad lies on a certain position, certain area, the bunker, sand bunker, all them kind of things, try and position your ball where they're not going to be affected by that. Which is what the straight and narrow is usually about. But once again, if you like me on the course and you like, they call it taking chances. The safe way to play, I guess, is like I say, that old man golf. Putt, putt on the green. Puff, puff, pass, putt, putt on the green. But it's just fun for me to play it the other way. So that's how I mainly used to play. Getting some bad lies, and then you end up from imagining going to shoot under par scores to sometimes shooting 80s, a lot of 90s. I haven't really been in the 100 too much like that since probably mid-high school. 7th grade, 8th grade, them hundreds kind of gone out the window. But still, them under pars used to turn into mid to high 80s and low 90s fairly frequently, even in tournaments. So, be careful with them bad lies. People telling lies, avoid them liars. Them dragons liars, gotta avoid them. Or make sure your truth strong enough in you to deal with them lies. So people can know right off the bat, once they hear them lies starting to sound like a choir, and people orchestrating them lies and it just sound like a orchestra. And you make sure that truth in you, and then that orchestra just drown out, fizzle out, burn down. It makes your game a lot easier to play when people see the truth. Anyway, grunge out.